And it looks like BabyKnight, the blue Protoss in the top left, and Beastie, the green Terran, in the bottom right.
Beastie has looked pretty much untouchable in all the macro games he's played thus far. Playing really, really smart and economically early on, getting away with some risks. Even when he didn't play particularly risky in the games where his killer just absolutely dominated them with his macro, with his expansions and constant aggression. Really good timings. He seems much better than his opponents mechanically and in terms of execution. I wouldn't be excuse me. I wouldn't be too surprised if BabyKnight didn't go for some kind of 2-base all-in or very heavy pressure again this time. He tried that 3-base warp gate timing last game, but Beastie was very well prepared for it.
And that's something you really only, like, if you're playing a best of 5 series, I feel like that build you're not going to do twice in a row.
No, I definitely do not expect to see a faster Nexus. However, neither player was really aware of just how greedy the other one was, even throughout the game. Baby never realized bottom right, and Beastie felt like it was a 2-base all-in because it opened up with such heavy pressure, and then he was in bad shape afterwards. So maybe they feel comfortable being greedy again, although probably not to that extent.
Yeah, BabyKnight probably pretty confused about what happened that game. I don't know if he watched the replay, but I kind of hope he didn't, because like missing that base when you scout it would kind of throw me off if I was in his position.
That would be very tilting.
But he is going to go for the gateway first again, nothing crazy like Nexus first, and from Beastie, no gas yet, so it looks like another 1-rack CC build here.
I'd like to see him put down a depot there just to keep Protoss in the dark, but maybe with Beastie, the 1-rack CC, the macro play is so predictable, it's not even worth the investment to do nice scouting.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to go for that. Probe will be able to get in, know exactly what's going on again. He is, this time, 3 probes on the geyser immediately, so definitely a different build. Probably, it could still be a fast Nexus, you don't know, but could also definitely be some kind of gateway pressure or some kind of tech variation like Robo or DT. Anything could happen with this opening so far. And he's getting the Cyber Core. Beastie gets in there.
No very fast second guess from BabyKnight, so I doubt it'll be too heavy tech very fast. He could just be hiding that for the sake of the SCV scout, waiting for that to be cleared out of his base. But it takes 1 probe off of the second gas, so it looks like it could be the same build all over again. I'm not sure what exactly his gas timings were last time, but this could be Nexus before Warp Gate again. Beastie, however, prepared to block it this time.
Here comes the probe, and it looks like he does want to expand. He took the probes off. He's put him back on, actually. Maybe he's just trying to trick...
Well, he still hasn't started the Warp Gate upgrade, so but there goes the Engineering Bay block. However, this time BabyKnight did allow the Zealot to complete, so we'll be able to take that block down pretty quickly. Still a pretty solid delay, and Beastie at the same time is being pretty greedy. He's putting down his command center in expansion immediately.
He's got he had 4 probes on gas for a little bit. I think that was a mistake. His rally point was on this simulator. There comes the Nexus. So, yes, pretty similar openings to last time. However, I guess this game we won't be seeing a super fast 3rd Nexus or command center.
That would be very, very surprising. Actually, potentially a fast 3rd command center, just a macro orbital in his main from Beastie. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that. I don't think that's too non-standard. However, a fast 3rd Nexus from BabyKnight definitely seems like it would be quite a surprise. Both end opening up pretty normally still. Another rack's coming down, both gas. Beastie start heading up towards tech. Higher tier bio plus Starport Tech, Engineering Bay, and a Robo actually coming down from BabyKnight. Last game he played almost the entire game without a Robo, completely blind, no observers, no Robo Tech. This game not opting for that, playing much more safer and more conservatively. But then even with the economic advantage last game, he got out macro pretty badly, so that might not be the best decision from him here.
Yeah, you could do that several things from here. You could go for something like a really fast Colossus attack, where you just get the Robotics Bay immediately, get range and a few Colossus and a lot of gateways and go. Or you could just get an Obs and play very reactively and economically and go for that late game composition. We'll see what he's doing. But Beastie definitely getting a very fast factory compared to last game. Also getting 2 reactors, so we might actually be seeing some kind of Marine tank Banshee play from this, with the 2 gases going, and a lot of Marines, no stim or anything, no tech lock for the barracks. So yeah, that's interesting. We've seen it a lot from Terrans as well in TVP, where they take the 1-1-1 build and just put in a command center and then just have a lot more stuff, and it still works really well.
Yeah, a tech lab going down on the factory, so it looks like you are right. No tech lab on the barracks means it will be a pretty fast timing. He's not going to try for stim or combat shields or anything. He's just going to build up a bunch of Marines, a few tanks with siege, potentially medevacs, although we don't see any Starport just yet, so it could actually be a really, really fast timing just with 2 or 3 tanks a bunch of Marines. The siege mode does start. Looks like that will be what he's going for. Continuing SCV production so far. We just have to wait and see what kind of timing he goes for. Baby putting down the double forge, and I don't think that will complete in time. I don't think he'll have those upgrades, so that's just going to be money that he hasn't invested in army. Only 3 gateways and a Robo. Robo not producing any immortals or anything of that sort, so BabyKnight, he is going to have that fast observer out to see what's going on, but he's not looking like he's going to be super well prepared for it.
Yeah, he's getting the Twilight Council and just getting an observer, so it looks like he wanted to go for that reactive macro game, but if Beastie really goes like very all in with this and just cuts SCVs and gets a few more barracks, maybe he's not getting any Banshees, so that's a little bit strange. This is beginning... Without any Banshees, I feel like we might see a 3rd command center here. I mean, maybe this is just a very defensive build where he goes for 3-base timing.
I don't know, he's delaying upgrades so much and he's investing so much into that army out fast. I feel like this almost has to be, if not an all-in, very heavy pressure. He is putting down that engineering bay, potentially just to prevent DTs from being a hard counter to the push. It definitely looks like he's going for an attack to me. But
BabyKnight is seeing everything now, and he's got the double upgrades going and the Twilight Council, which is a good this Zealot charge, which I think is a good choice against all these tanks if the Zealots can get in range on the Marines and the tanks are doing splash damage to the Marines. I think that's a good army composition with some immortals, which he's now getting. So I'm not sure why BC still hasn't added more production. Do you really still think this is an attack? I
don't know. I feel like it almost has to be. It feels like a very dedicated opening. His infrastructure is really delayed. No starport, no additional barracks, no tech labs or upgrades for the bio. Just now starting +1 weapons. But you're right. It's getting to the point where it's way too late. He's taking 4 gases, and once those 1-1 upgrades plus charge lot finish, along with a handful of mortals, BabyKnight's going to be in great position to just absolutely crush this composition. So I don't think he can attack it anymore, but it feels like he's set up really, really poorly for the mid-game from this opening.
Yeah, and BabyKnight even rushing for a Templar Archives here. I guess he saw that there's only 2 barracks. This is still a really large army. Look at the supply too. The BC is way ahead, and now he's getting 3 more barracks in the starport. And no 3rd TC. He still wants, still
I don't know. I feel like that tech will kick in much quicker for BabyKnight than this additional production will for Beastie, and he's already missed that initial timing where he may have been able to attack. He's going to start getting Templar tech out. He has additional gateways coming down. We'll have to see if he goes for 2-2 upgrades or if he's just content to sit on 1-1 and wait for an attack. But his production is really going to boom here soon. What do you equal Harvester count to? I don't know. This looks like a really awkward build from Beastie.
I think that BabyKnight is... I don't know what he's doing, but he's staying on 52 probes. He is probably totally convinced that this is going to be a 2-base attack, and he's going to get as many units as possible from these 2 bases. Now he's actually... No, still not making probes.
Well, there still is no 3rd command center. This is still a 2-base from Beastie. He's looking more and more defensive. However, without a 3rd command center, he's probably just going to build up for a very, very large delayed attack. Get some medevacs out. He has started reactor starport production. He's also now getting stim and combat shields and +1. He may have just been looking for an opportunity for a build order win, and given that BabyKnight was prepared for it, he's going to sit back and go to a backup plan, which is this very big mid-game push with a lot of tanks built up.
Yeah, I think this push could potentially be very scary though, especially with this 3rd Nexus going down. That means BabyKnight is not entirely sure it's going to be 2-base all-in, which it definitely is. There are so many Marines. There are 38 Marines on the field against 9 Zealots, 4 Immortals, an Archon, 3 Sentient, and 2 Templars, which of course it seems like there's a lot more for the Terran, which you can also see in the supply. But at the same time, if the Storms are perfect and the 2-2 finishes, the Protoss is going to have a very nice army as well.
Yeah, if BabyKnight controls this well, he can be very, very cost-efficient versus this army. However, we can see that he was really worried about a very fast 2-base all-in. He cut a lot of probes. He didn't get a lot of production up early on. He just doesn't have a very big army because he was so concerned with holding off that all-in early on. And also, I don't believe he has spotting on the army. It looks like Beastie's going to move around and get into a great position. BabyKnight's just completely unaware of it. This is leaving Beastie's main very, very exposed to any kind of counterattack, but he's going to be in almost untouchable position set up with the siege tanks here over the 3rd base.
Yeah, the storm is done, and there is 3 Templars, but with these positions and all these bunkers going down and the siege being up, now BabyKnight realizes it and runs back.
Can't attack into that. That's
but there's siege on the high ground and Marines all over the 3rd base. and he's just funneling into the siege tank, and everything is dying, and Beastie is absolutely destroying this, it seems like. But now a lot of his charge loads come in, and the storms hit a lot of the units.
Those Immortals,
Wow.
Immortals versus tanks, obviously
Oh my God.
incredibly powerful, and Storm clean up a lot of the bio, and that 2-2 upgrades finished for BabyKnight. His units are just not dying. That battle completely demonstrated the importance of upgrades in this matchup. As soon as the 2-2 upgrades kicked in, as soon as his units actually managed to engage, they just did not die at all. That looked like a terrible position for BabyKnight. I thought he was absolutely dead, and just those Immortals getting in there and killing all of the tanks. Kind of sloppy bio control from Beastie, taking a lot of damage from those storms.
Yeah, and he didn't even take out the Nexus. I mean, it looked so good, but then those Immortals just didn't die at all, and I think the Observer must have been there, so he could see the tanks, because I was expecting him to not even see the tanks and just all die. But the Marines really needed to be closer to kill those Immortals, because, you know, tanks just own Immortals, so the Immortals didn't die and clean up everything. Now a drop in the third base, preventing the probes from mining, but not doing much else. And since Beastie was so all in with this, he still does not have a third CC. He's gonna get some ghosts and probably just do another attack. BabyKnight has done a good job of catching up on workers now, way ahead, and it looks really good for BabyKnight right now.
Yeah, and he had really good army retention from that first battle for holding off what's essentially an all-in, still having 4 Immortals plus an Archon alive along with some support units. Really just makes it so much more difficult for your opponent to do a secondary all-in to have any kind of backup plan, because you just still have that army. You didn't even reset the game. Protoss is just so far ahead from that situation. 3-3 upgrades on the way, in fact
Almost
very nearly
done.
completed. Blink on the way as well, much more production, 3 base to 2 base. Beastie is just absolutely
Drop
dead
in the
right now.
main by Beastie. This is good. The army is way far away for BabyKnight, and it's gonna kill a lot of probes here.
However,
And
feedback's taking down 2 of the medevacs. So that army is pretty much trapped now. Only the 1 medevac remaining. He's not going to be able to lift all of it out.
Yeah, it will get cleaned up, and completely not gonna be able to pick it up with these stalkers that have Blink.
And that killed a few workers, but still a 12-worker lead for for BabyKnight. A huge economic lead for him. No third command center yet from Beastie. He is going to just mine out his main and lift off that orbital and transfer it over, should he choose to take a third base. So again, he's almost absolutely all in here. BabyKnight just needs to keep defending against these drops, keep building up this army, and really allow the 3-3 upgrades and the tech advantage to pay off for him, because that is going to be such a huge deal when they actually do engage.
The 3-3 upgrades are actually such a big deal. With 2-1 against 2-3, and especially this army composition with Immortals and Storm, it's gonna so many Zealots. It's gonna be really hard for BC. And here comes BabyKnight moving into the third, which is not even taken. So there's no need for him to do this.
No.
All he has to do
He
is
actually
sit
could have
back.
broken that anyway. Had he attacked, I think he definitely would have
he
crushed
will.
that army.
There's a pylon here. He's definitely gonna want to attack. Just a matter of time.
It's funny because you're right. He has absolutely no need to attack. He has an economic and tech advantage. Attacking is actually the last thing he wants to do, but it'll work anyway because he's just so far ahead.
Yeah.
Beastie is set up here in pretty good position. His tanks are well spread out, but as we saw in that first battle, this is a tank-killing army from Protoss. It just has so many units that are so incredibly efficient. The only odd thing is he has a lot more Stalkers than Zealots.
Yeah, but they have Blink now, so
Yeah.
if he moves in the Observer, he can still Blink on top of tanks. I'm not sure why he's waiting, really.
He
Random
repositions his army a
Blink.
bit. Moving units
Yeah.
is too difficult. It's much better to teleport them. And he does go in for the attack here, and just Beastie in great position, but so powerful units from
R comes in the front, every tank dies to the great concave of the Stalkers. These ghosts are trying to EMP, but there's just so many Stalkers and 3 Immortals still alive. He's gonna push in here. All very nicely come for these siege tanks. There's a huge storm on all the Marines and the SCVs. And the final blink in. And he cleans up Beastie, and GG, it's 1-1. BabyKnight brings it back.
That just really showed the power of upgrades that game. Beastie